These huddles, muscle memory, muscle memory, muscle memory. Please remember that. The reason you can get on a bike and ride a bike is because you did it enough time. If you can't ride a bike today, it's because you never learned. If you learned, you can ride a bike today. Business funding is the same thing. Until you learn how to do it, you don't know how. Once you learn how, then this is simple. It's like getting on a bike. It's very simple. And you never worry about, when you get on a bike, are you worried about a flat tire? Not unless you're in a race. You don't bring an inner tube with you. If you're in a race, you bring an inner tube, right? You got an extra tube. You got a pump on your bike. You're ready to go. You got water to take you for 20 miles. You don't need to worry about all that stuff. This is a simple business. It's like going for a bike ride to the store to pick up a bag of bread and lettuce hanging out and put it in your basket on your handlebars. This is a simple business. But until you know how to ride a bike, it's not. So it's okay, but these huddles are for those who already know how to ride a bike, and they're also to encourage people who've never ridden one before to get on. And it's okay. Let's put the training wheels on. We'll do it with training wheels. And then eventually we'll take the training wheels off. We got B2B pros who share in here, and we got people who are brand new and have never made an outbound call in here. Okay. And you're all welcome. Everyone's welcome. So come back over and over and over, and eventually you take the training wheels off. Eventually you're teaching others how to ride the bike, and eventually you're helping them take the training wheels off. And before long, you got a bunch of people who can ride 100 miles on your bike. You can fund the biggest businesses, the smallest businesses. You can partner with banks. You can partner. When you first get started, figure out how to ride a bike, have some conversations. That's what these huddles are for, and that's what our business funding and certifications for. All right, our training. All right, couple stories for you today. And by the way, we always say facts tell, stories sell. So the reason you want stories is so you can share them, not for just for your own edification, just for your own knowledge, but so that you can say, hey, by the way, you own an ice cream shop. We help businesses who only have one shop who want to have a second one. In fact, we helped one company go from one location to 3 locations just by getting them 40 grand, and they grew their business. We helped that same business then get 80,000 to open a second location. Then we helped them get 115 to open their 3rd location. So from 1 location to 4 locations because of us and getting them the funding. They did the hard work, but we were able to get them the money. And this is a person who couldn't get approved for a car lease. Literally could not, because they came to me and said, can you get me approved for a car? Because I can get funding with you guys, but I can't get a car. I can't get a car. And we had already helped them get to 2 locations because their FICO score was messed up. Right. So we can help even when they can't get approved for a car. That's a great story for a restaurant owner. Right. So the reason you hear stories is so you can share them. I had another person who was in the roofing business and was getting older in age and didn't want to keep getting up on roofs. He wanted to open a pizza shop. We gave him money to his roofing company so that his roofing company could buy a pizza store. And now he runs the pizza shop and he sold off the roofing store, but he used the roofing company's revenue to get the funding. The same company bought the pizza shop, but then eventually sold the roofing portion. There's all kinds of stories we've got, right? We had another person who needed inventory discount, was called and said, we'll save you $300,000 on this purchase. We'll do $600,000 worth for $300,000 if you can make a $300,000 purchase by tomorrow. We got them $250,000 within 2 hours so they can make that purchase. They saved over $300,000 on their inventory purchase because we got them the money, and they paid our money off over a year. So they got their $600,000 of inventory for free. They paid it over a year instead of upfront. Story after story after story after story. There's one other a trucking company that they had 4 trucks. One of the trucks broke down. That's 25% of the revenues closed. They need $30,000 to get. I don't know why, but you need 30. But that's what they needed to get those semis back on the road. I don't know if they're buying a new one or what. We got them $30,000 within 1 day. They're back up and running. No limping, no required. It's like a sprained ankle. Put a Band-Aid on it. Let's go. We got to the funding. Now they got to pay that $30,000 back over time, but they're back in revenue generating, right? Couple of stories for you. Remodeling construction company today. Client has almost no credit. I have very little credit at this point. I don't borrow money, right? So I don't have much active credit. There's a lot of people, it's called ghost credit. They've never applied for credit. They work on money only. They pay cash for things. And so they don't have a lot of FICO score. So because of that, none of our B or C lenders would approve this customer. Credit was not available. So we couldn't get them funding. Strong business, remodeling construction business. Wade instead was able to get on the phone with our underwriting team at our A lenders who require a higher FICO score, explain the situation, the strength of the business, all this. We couldn't get the B and C lenders to approve. Many reasons because they have agreements with the people giving them the money that says you won't lend money to someone who doesn't have a FICO score of like this. There's all kinds of reasons. These are funds, right? But instead, he was able to get one of our A core rate funders to approve this deal, and he got him a $125,000 offer, 12 months with a 100% prepayment discount. Just got approved. Is that awesome? That is super awesome. Another client, Wade, was on the phone. I don't have the details of this one, but he just told me I just got home from my son's wedding. So he was just giving me an update of some fundings from yesterday. And he said, hey, we had another one. I think it was 150,000. He said, this is someone who they did not want to take the money. We were offered him $250,000 and they didn't want to take it. They didn't want to take it. They didn't want to take it. And he said, because they only needed it for a short period of time. So he was able to get him approved for a core rate, 150,000, 100% prepayment discount, spent all the time on the phone that the customer needed to help them understand that if you pay it off early, you don't have to pay all that extra interest. And that's the only reason the client went forward. Wade invested all that time with that customer. $150,000 funding just went out yesterday or today because of the Bank Breezy team being able to have all these offers. Again, if a travel agent, you call a travel agent because you're looking for a flight from Detroit to San Diego, what matters most, the time you're flying or the cost? For my daughter, it mattered the time because she was in college until Friday, had to be out there Saturday morning. Cost doesn't matter as much. She's got to be in class on Friday, has to leave Friday afternoon, and needs to be there Saturday morning. Timing matters more than the cost. To others, the cost matters. McGuire flew out at 5 a.m. because he's like, hey, I'd rather pay the lowest flight than get home at a certain time than worry about the time. So he flew out at 5 in the morning. He's leaving the house at 4 in the morning because he's got to get to the airport. He went with price over time. Funding is the same thing. You got a client who's approved for a deal. They want 40,000. We get them 40,000. They got to pay back in 6 months. They may go, I can't afford that quick because what I'm doing with the funds is going to take me a year to pay it off. But if you can get me 30 and give me a year to pay it off, I'll take the 30 with a year term because I can generate enough revenue with the 30 to pay off the term over a year. This is what Wade deals with every day. Wade and his team are dealing with your needs, your client's needs. It's not just, I need 50 grand. Okay, well, that's just part of the equation. How much is that 50 going to turn into and how fast? Because you need a 4-month term, a 6-month term, a 9-month term, a 12-month term, an 18-month term. The longer the term, the more it's going to cost, or the lower the commission. There's all these things that play into it. And just so you all know, commission is the last thing Wade looks at. He looks at the client's needs. He looks at getting the client what they want, what they can afford. And the only time commission's looked at is if he's got 2 identical offers for the client. And then we say, okay, which one's going to pay you more? Because it's the same product to the customer. But if the product to the customer is not the right fit, it doesn't matter the commission. We've got Wade and his team commission blind. They're not paid on commission. They do not get a percentage of the commissions. They do not get a percentage of the deal. They are on salary. They get paid to do their job. Right? Now, the good news is Wade's a partner with the company, so obviously he generates some profit, but the commission is never looked at until you get the product approved. Then the commission's looked at. So just so y'all know, we're not playing games with commission. We can't mark it up. We could, but we don't. We take care of the customer with the highest profit to us as we can without hurting the customer, right? So great news. Another approval today, a trucking company out of Florida. Broker is John Bach. John, congrats on your new client. Check this out. They've got 2 advances already and a line of credit with one of our core rate providers. They receive funding in the last 90 days and they draw off their line of credit regularly. Are you going to lend them money? Well, it depends on how much revenue they're doing, what their payments are, right? So we're able to get the client an offer of 75% of their monthly revenue as a 4th position. A 4th position. We got them $15,000. Now, a trucking company getting that, I don't know what their needs are. But I know this, Wade discussed their needs, and there's a good value in this because you don't just want to keep adding debt to people. They got to have a business that can pay for all this, right? Otherwise, they're being hurt. So this is fuel, right? We're not trying to put them in mud. where they're stuck. They're a trucking company. We want to give them fuel and make sure their tires are aligned properly and they can move fast, right? So, great stories. Share those stories. And I'm already at my 12 minutes. So I just got a quick thing for the huddle. Power of the pre-call purpose. I said we're these are purpose-driven calls. Pro tip: before every call, take 10 seconds to define your purpose. The purpose, not just the purpose of the call, like I want to connect, I want to have a conversations, I want to ask them for a commitment, I want to get a email address to send them some more information, I want to get information on who the founder is, or I want to follow up on the last conversation we have. That's a purpose too. But there's also a purpose. It's connect with the purpose of what we do. The purpose is we're the front line of capitalism for the front line of capitalism. We're the front line of money for the front line of capitalism. They're the people employing America. They're the ones starting businesses. They're the ones who, without them, we have no jobs. Business owners create jobs. 6 in 10 are breaking even or losing money. 6 in 10 business owners you walk into are breaking even or losing money. I was watching CNBC yesterday and they said small cap companies, meaning smaller public companies, small capitalization, they don't have as big of value yet. They said small cap companies, sometimes you can get a bargain on because most all of them aren't making money yet. Even the biggest publicly traded companies, not the biggest, the smallest publicly traded, but some of the biggest companies in the world, if they're on NASDAQ and in New York Stock Exchange, they're a publicly traded company. They're one of the biggest, right? Compared to the restaurant in town, compared to the roofing company. And yet he said most of them are still operating at a loss, which is the facts. 6 in 10 are breaking even or losing money, but Johnny's Pizza's got to close if he doesn't start making a profit. Tina's Salon's got to close if she doesn't start making a profit. Billy's Hardscape has got to start making a profit, or else he's got to stop putting in retainer walls and landscaping, right? Billy's Pool Company, Johnny's Pool Company, Lisa's Pool Company, they got to make a profit or they close. 6 in 10 are breaking even or losing money. If you don't connect with that before making a call, you're just in the shallow breath of concern about how am I going to come across, the shallow breath of what am I going to sound like, the shallow breath of will I know what to say. If you're stuck on all those thoughts, you're not connected with the purpose. Because when you're connected with the purpose, it doesn't matter if you do it right. You're on my sailboat with me, and we're out on the water, and someone falls in off someone else's boat, and they're splashing in the water, and they can't swim well, and we got a life ring. Do I need to teach you how to throw them the life ring? Do I need to teach you how to tell me that someone's up man overboard? Do you need to teach me? Do I need to teach you how to tell me how to take my boat over there and help them? Or do we just go help? Do we just throw the life ring? You don't need a script when your purpose is connected with helping them. When your purpose is connected with informing them, when your purpose is connected with, man, they probably need our help, whether they know it yet or not, you are an answer to their struggle because you can help fund their future growth. You can help fund their future outcome. And if you're not connected with that purpose, it doesn't matter whether you're trying to get the email address. It doesn't matter if you're just trying to make sure they get the drop card or your website link, because they're not going to care. They're not going to feel you care. So they're not going to care what you're offering them. You've heard people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They don't care about your funding site either until they feel you care. They don't care. They're not going to apply with you just because you say all the right words. They're going to feel how you say them. You ever been on a date or you ever met someone new and it just feels right or it just doesn't? Yeah. How do you make sure it feels right? Start with the purpose. Connect with the purpose of what we're doing. When they feel that in you, you don't have to say it right. You don't have to say it with the right script. You just got to feel it right. So today, reconnect with some people, but first reconnect with the purpose. Don't make a conversation unless you connect with the purpose. All right. Before every outreach today, write down the purpose of the outreach, but also the purpose of the outreach.